Okay, so this is about the use of the word impossible, and it's a little different because it's not really about grammatical, it's more about lexical and how it sounds to the listener, especially to positive people in business. So, as a definition, consider that impossible means it cannot be done because of inability or an action that is against the laws of physics, or something that is so improbable that it's completely unrealistic and you just don't see in real life. So, some examples here. Correct use. It's impossible to travel faster than the speed of light. So, the scientists tell us that. In the future, we may discover it's different, but at the moment, that is the belief. It's impossible to find an honest politician. Well, of course, there are a lot of dishonest politicians, but this is more as a sarcastic comment. It's not actually impossible, it's just that there are many that are dishonest. Things are only impossible until they're not. This is a quite a fixed expression to express that many times people use the word badly. It means are only impossible until they are possible. And of course, in the past, people said lots of things were impossible that we now know are just about having different knowledge or different technology. You can say here, it's not impossible for humans to travel to Mars. Okay, so that's expressing a positive attitude to say that yes, you think that we can do it. So that's okay because you're basically saying it's possible. If you say it's impossible, then it just sounds negative, and it's probably a question of technology. If we can't do it now, we can do it in the future. Finally, it will be difficult to convince him, but not impossible is reasonable because it shows you think there is some hope, but it will be a difficult situation with obstacles. So, here are some typical mistakes. I say mistakes not grammatically, remember, but just because of how bad it sounds. It was impossible for me to attend the class. Well, maybe you just had a meeting, maybe you were in the hospital with an appointment. So you made a decision to do something that was more important for you. That's reasonable, but it wasn't impossible, it was just a decision. It was impossible for me to understand his accent. No, other people would understand it. To say it's impossible for me, it doesn't sound right. I couldn't understand his accent, would be fine. It was impossible to read the writing on the document. It's not specific. It doesn't tell us what was wrong. Was the writing small? Was it covered by something? Was it a problem with your glasses or contact lenses? So give the information about why you couldn't do something. It was impossible to arrive on time today. Well, this really suggests that you don't take responsibility for your actions. You could leave earlier, or you could simply explain the reason, the unusual situation that happened. Impossible to do my homework? No, again, a question of time maybe, but or about a decision, or maybe just something unexpected happened. Impossible for the government to stop the drug trade? Well, maybe is not feasible because of the amount of money. But again, it's suggesting a person is looking for excuses. It can make the person seem negative and lazy. And like I say, especially in business, these attitudes are not good to transmit. So here are a few examples of how to correct them. So I couldn't attend the class because I had a meeting. Very reasonable explanation. I couldn't understand his accent. It was very strong. You're not saying it's impossible, just couldn't understand. Just you personally. The writing on the document was too small to read. You have the explanation. I'm sorry I'm late. There was a lot of traffic. So you take responsibility that you didn't decide to leave with enough time. And it's always good manners to apologize. I didn't have time to do my homework. It's not realistic to think you can eliminate the drug trade. So always give that extra information and use as much positive language as possible.